Harry Triguboff 是澳大利亚地产巨头 Meriton 集团的创始人及总裁，澳洲首富。他出生在中国大连，年轻时就移民澳洲，开始成立他的地产帝国。他的成功秘诀是努力与坚持。
I succeeded because I worked very hard, and I still work very hard. But and I surrounded myself with people who were similar to me, so we all worked the same way. At present, I owe no money. I have no shareholders. I have no directors. And so I can do whatever I think is right. And that makes it a lot easier. Provided what I think is right is right. If I don't think right, then it's bad, very, very bad. For instance, we have a lot of problems with councils in Australia. They take too long. And very often I fight them in court. I will never go to fight unless I think that I can win. Doesn't mean I win every time, doesn't mean that. But I do what I think is right. Then they write. See, when I first started, they were saying that my standard was not high enough. But at that time, nobody built at all. So I was the only standard. I was the best and I was the worst. So it's very hard to say. But as time went on and the standard of living improved, then of course I started to build better. You go as much, you build as well as the people can afford.
All right, fantastic.
Not too good and not worse, but as well as they can afford. And all the time, you must build better than the last one. Otherwise, the old apartment is going to beat the new apartment. So you always go a little bit better. A little bit better. Consistent.
So we're just wondering why Meriton just built apartments only?
I built apartments because I thought I could make more money. That's
smart.
Very good reason. Now, you see, when I started to build apartments, there were no apartments built in Australia. So even though I was very small, really, it was my system that we started.
All right.
Whereas cottages, they built forever. And in cottages, they used to tell the people, what color do you want, what size do you want. In the apartments, I don't ask what do you want. I tell to them, this is what I have. If you like it, very good. If you don't, somebody else will come. So it made it efficient and I could build many. Right? So that's the reason I stuck with apartments. And also, there were no apartments here. So I thought that there was a big demand for them. Because in China, as you know, we all lived in apartments. I come here, there are no apartments, only houses. So I thought, well, there must be room for apartments.
近几年，澳洲房价不断上涨，大部分本地人认为其原因是由中国买家造成的，甚至连银行都收紧海外人士贷款政策。但是 Harry 自己却有自己的独到见解。
Right. So, in the last 5 years, it went up 50%. Now, probably went down 5%. I wouldn't worry about that. However, if you want to buy today and sell tomorrow, I don't think it's a good idea. It's gone up too much. But if you want to stay with it, I think it's good. I believe in it, so I buy. So I build. So it's not that I talk, I do, I prove it, right? And I made money all the time. So I think that the reason I'm so confident is because there's lack of supply. And because there is a lot of migration. It's not only people who come here to settle, it's also people who come here to study, people who come here to work, people who come here as tourists, people who come as workers, temporary workers.
So
there's a lot of people coming, which the figures don't show. I know that it is so because even with all the activity, the rents are not going down. So if it was too much, if we built too much, then the rents would go down. They haven't gone down. Maybe a little bit up, not much, but a little bit up. So I'm confident that it'll be okay. at the moment it is more difficult for the developers to get money.
Why? Why?
Why? Because we have problems with I mean, the main boom,
Yep.
that's where I was in, is in apartments,
Yes.
where a big majority are the Chinese. And our banks don't understand how the Chinese prove their income.
Yes.
I don't think that in this country they are against Chinese buying. I can't see that. But
But the
they
truth
try,
is,
but they find ways of how to charge the overseas purchasers more. That they do.
yes.
But that is petty, it's not much. It's a few percent, it's not much. And they really copy other countries.
Yeah.
Which
That's really
I'm
interesting.
not happy about that because I think it's silly. But anyway, that's what they do.
All
But,
right.
but the Australian government and the Australian population is very happy with the Chinese buying.
Yeah.
Now, some of them say that because they got the prices up, that the young people can't buy. But the old people are very, very happy because they get more for the house. So let's
Yeah.
not worry about it, you know. For everybody who is unhappy, there are 10 that are very happy.
Yes.
So
It's
you
really
can't make-
hard to balance.
You can't make everyone happy.
Exactly.
When the Chinese first came here,
Yep.
I asked them, my first question was, where is cheaper, here or in Beijing? They told me here.
Yes, absolutely.
So we have to understand that some parts of our market are really very much involved together with the Chinese market.
Yep.
So I'll give you an example that when our banks made problems for the purchasers, at the same time in China there was a big boom. And so the Chinese purchasers said, all right, we don't buy anymore, we'll go and stay in China. Right? Nothing to do with us because China was good.
Yeah.
So we have to understand that we are now very much together with the Chinese market. And we cannot expect the Chinese to think exactly like we do because they have their market and our market, where we only have our market. So, I mean, that's natural and we have to learn to live with it. It's the same thing with iron ore or with coal. The Chinese closed their old mills
Yeah.
in Tanshan, where I was born. I was born in the coal mines there, Tanshan.
Wow.
They closed them, so now the iron ore goes up. So we're very happy, that's okay. So we have to understand that's what will happen. We're
Yeah.
together, really, very much together. I have to watch what happens in China, and China is to watch what happens here. Very important we understand each other better.
Great.
And I'm working on it to explain that to our people here. Right. Otherwise, it's no good blaming them or, or not understanding them. If you understand it, it's not so difficult.
对于中国一些实力强大的地产巨头进军澳洲地产市场 ，Harry 从未担心他们因此而造成的潜在威胁。相反，他对自己的 Meriton 项目非常有信心。
I don't think it's any threat to us or to Australian developers who know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I think that the Chinese developers are not finding it easy here. It's even hard for us. Now, it's a lot easier in Queensland,
Yes.
much easier there.
Yeah.
But of course, Queensland hasn't got as many people, so it's more dangerous.
Yeah.
So if you want easy counsel and danger, you go Queensland. If you want hard counsel and less danger, you stay in Sydney. So I do a bit of both, but I'm mostly in Sydney because that's where the bigger market is. We believe that as long as the real estate is strong in China,
Yep.
the Chinese developers will concentrate on China. It's easier for him to build in China than to come here. Now, if I'm a little person and I want to have something overseas, then of course that's a different thing.
Yeah.
Now, I don't believe that the Chinese developers will be a big threat to anyone. And I don't think they want to be a big threat.
Yes.
What for? If you're at home and you are not threatening anyone, it's much easier than if you come somewhere else and you're threatening. So there's nothing in like it. But of course, our developers have to be cleverer than they were. One of the problems of our developers, I'm sure it's the same in America as here, is that the developers have not got enough money. You see? Undercapitalized.
That's very important.
Right. Now, so if they want to keep their portion of the business, they have to learn to manage money. It's not only a matter of managing the labor force or the bricklayers. You have to manage money so that when you need, you have it.
Yes.
And not worry that, you know, if you sold something, you could have made more money later. That's rubbish. Don't worry about it.
All right.
Who cares? You'll make it later. So I think if we learn that, then it will be very good for us. But the Chinese developers will try to grow mostly in China, I promise you.
Do you have any plan to expand your business back in China or China mainland?
No, I don't have any. I tell you, I don't even build in Melbourne.
Oh.
Because I like to be in control.
Wow.
It's for me to run here, to run there is a bit hard.
Yes, exactly.
And because everywhere is also different type of culture.
Yep.
Sydney, different culture from Melbourne. Melbourne from, you know, unions.
Different.
Different. Unions in Melbourne is different from union in Sydney, all different. So it's very difficult, the way I run it, to be anywhere else.